Heat got the win over the Spurs last night. There were a couple storylines you could talk about. For one, Kyle Lowry returning obviously changes a lot for this team offensively and defensively, but mostly just getting them into their actions. Something I'll talk about later in this one. But the main focus is Tyler Hero, and not just because last night was him not making an All-Star team, but because he put together a pretty intriguing performance against the Spurs. Something he should have done because there was some favorable matchups there. But it was more about the way he was scoring, the way he was getting to the rim. And a lot of that ties together with the Lowry returning. So let's go for the first one. This is a time when they don't have Jimmy, Bam, or Kyle on the floor. How do they run offense? The best thing to do is when you have Tyler and Duncan on the floor together, utilize them together. It's something that's looked good even when Duncan's not hitting. He was last night to start, especially. So you're going to see Tyler come here, set off-ball screen for Duncan to pop up. And as much as you talk about Duncan, even when he's struggling, that the gravity is kind of just overhyped in a lot of ways. It's really not, because as you see right here, start this game, Tyler sets the off-ball screen. What happens? Duncan's going to come off a pin down. Come off a handoff. Tyler's going to flash down, and two guys basically run after Duncan. Miscommunication. Now Dedmon can just hit here right in the middle of the floor, go for an easy layup. It's just the simple things with things they can run. If they can run effective offense like that and have Bam, Kyle, and Jimmy sitting on the sideline, it's not something you'll see much in the playoffs because there's not many times those three guys will be sitting on the bench together. But if you can go through offense and really work it, this is obviously a really shorthanded Spurs team anyway, but if you can do that, then you're in a decent spot. Another thing, this is the main topic from Tyler Hero last night. We've seen his shooting, his pick and roll, kind of attacking and pulling up at the mid-range and overall shooting. But this is the most intriguing part, was his driving. And the reason I say it ties together with Kyle Lowry is we've seen over this recent stretch both Jimmy and Kyle being out. What does that mean? Tyler's the primary attacker. It's not his role. It's not something I don't think he's ready for at this stage, because he's so much more, can do so many other things that he's better in these other spots. You've seen Jimmy return. Kyle was still away. Now he's the secondary attacker. Still not something he's done a lot of, because even though he's a sixth man, he's always kind of been that third attacker that can come in, make plays off the attack, and try to score. Now that Kyle's back, Tyler's back in his role. And as you saw last night, it wasn't part of it is playing a Spurs team. The other part of it is he's back totally with his shot profile that he's used to. So as you see right here, you're going to see him get the ball in the break. What does he do? Quick hesitation right, crosses left, gets to the rim. He's going to get the bump, lay it in, doesn't get the foul. But that little dip right there is important. We've seen over the years when we talk about his attacking, why it's not looked at as maybe a three-level scorer or the different parts is that, for one, it's about getting downhill. The other part is actually finishing downhill through contact. He's always kind of avoided it. He can do pretty crazy acrobatic finishes off the top of the backboard. But when it comes down to a playoff series or when it comes down to a tough matchup, you have to kind of embrace that contact, take the hit, and kind of go up with it. We saw that a lot last night. That was one of them. And it's also just the way he can kind of break down his defender in that way on the break. It's something I think they need to get to more of and kind of run the break a little bit more, especially with Kyle back. The next one, once again, Tyler's going to get it right here, empty corner. He's going to try to break down his defender, cross, he gets down low. As you see right here, he's going to get the foul. He's obviously not going to make it. But as I go back one more time, this almost looks Jimmy-like. Like Jimmy, this is something he's learning from Jimmy in a lot of ways, because as we know, when Jimmy drives, he obviously gets to the line a ton. Why does Jimmy get to the line a ton? For one, he's physical. Second, he's very good at just dipping his shoulder. It's hard to defend that. When you put your forward shoulder down, there's just no way to kind of recover and get a solid block unless you're just hounding him and trying to risk a foul. Right here, you're going to see Tyler get downhill. Right here, he's going to put his shoulder down. What does the defender do? Totally reaches down, grabs him, and he gets to the line right here. If he could do that consistently, and we've seen it more and more, him getting to the line, that's kind of a difference maker within his game. The last one, speaking of situational kind of things, you're going to see a lineup with just a ton of outside shooting. You have Max, you have Gabe, and you have Duncan going to be on that weak side in a second, and a Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, empty corner pick and roll. The difference is you can see the way he can dissect things when he gets these type of lineups. When we could talk about him being a third attacker on this team, but we can see him being that primary shot creator all times when he's on the floor, no matter who's out there, especially in this lineup right here. You're going to see him come off the pick and roll. Plenty of space right here. As much as I talk about Duncan being a drop killer, Tyler can dissect this in a perfect way, because this is when he's most comfortable, is when he's in this spot of the floor, right in the middle of the floor, and he can make decisions. He can wait it out. And as we know with Tyler lately, he definitely does wait it out. He kind of waits his time, gets the pump fake, shoots it over him, and that's just his game completely. Shifting over to Kyle Lowry, what changes when Kyle comes back? Is it just as simple as assist numbers? It really wasn't a high assist number for him last night. Is it the scoring? Definitely not. I don't even think he had a made field goal. It's just the way that he can not only calm them down, but he can get them into their actions. This is one of the first plays of the game we see really early, 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Just crosses half court. He's going to see Bam's going to have a mismatch with Keldon Johnson on him. What does he do? He's going to wait a second, float it over the top to Bam. And let me just say, I haven't seen that pass in quite some time. In the past probably 2 weeks, I have not seen that floated over the top half court pass. But Kyle's back, and it means that they can do these type of things. It's not just spammed actions or Jimmy pick and rolls. Or now they have diversity within their lineup, and that's why the Kyle coming back is just so important. And obviously, right here, you're going to see Bam with Keldon Johnson on his back, especially early in this game. He had the first 6 points. He did a really good job of just posting, sealing, and just working around the rim and finishing. Right here, he gets a nice little spins off him. Looks like he doesn't have enough room, gives one more, and gets under the rim and finishes. That's just the important element of not only Bam, but also Kyle recognizing this type of stuff and feeding Bam. We're going to see it more and more. Kyle's one of the main people who's going to get Bam to attack at a high level because he does a lot of those things where he'll give him the ball and clear out and not even give him that safety net. And we've seen over these last 2 games, Bam can do it when he chooses to. The final one, speaking of Kyle, with that insert pass, you're going to see him give it to Duncan. He's going to get it right back. What does he do? Floats it over the top to Jimmy in traffic. Of course, there's going to be some turnovers mixed in because when you're forcing these type of passes, it's just going to go back and forth in that manner. But right here, there aren't just many players that could do this, or at least there aren't many players who are comfortable with doing this. But Kyle and Jimmy, as you saw last night, constantly laughing throughout the game. They have a different type of connection anyway that they trust, have the communication to make these type of reads. Floats it over the top to Jimmy, and he finishes. It's just intriguing to see the way they can go forward with this. We haven't seen these 4, or including PJ, these 5 on the floor many times this season. But the main thing to mention here is just the diversity of things they can go to. We've seen when Kyle was in and Jimmy and Bam were out, it was a lot of ball movement. It was a lot of cutting. It was a lot of other guys picking up on the playmaking. When Kyle goes out and Jimmy and Bam are back, we saw a lot of ball pounding, getting to the rim, driving kicks. Now we're seeing a balance of both. And once they get a little bit more reps in, you're going to see kind of the importance of the offense coming together.